connecting to audio. Audio is connected. And hola.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, the world of technical glitches, I'm just glad all that is pieced together cohesively now.
We were just talking about that. I was just saying how, the thing that you went through this afternoon, that you and I went through this afternoon, is
Right.
sort of an inherited rite of passage.
Yeah.
It made me remember, we're going way, way back to when
Right.
I had to learn how to use a 386, which is an antique computer that with a DOS prompt, and I had a friend named Patsy Reali, who knew
Right.
every inch of a computer, and I used to call him up and I used to drive him out of his mind.
Well, your memory recall of walking me through stuff was quite impressive. Thank you.
Well, thank you, but I mean, I guess what I really mean is someday you'll be, and I hope that day never comes, but you'll be in a situation where you have to teach somebody, and it's a unique
Yeah.
situation. But because of how kind Pat was to me, you just got to pass it on. And plus the fact we need this. I love this segment, man. I
Thank you.
really do, and I
I'm loving
want
it the more we do it.
yeah, and I just want it to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I think just the stuff. When I find myself talking about a show after the show's over,
Right.
there was something involved there. So
Well, Sue
yeah.
says that Mercury is in retrograde.
It
Uh-oh.
is, and it's an interesting tidbit about this. If you have been experiencing cellular issues like connectivity, Bluetooth, and all this, some are saying that it is this Mercury retrograde is a consistent problem maker of these issues. I don't know how deep of truth that is, but I will tell you, I've had nothing but glitch after glitch, and I've been talking to people, and they've been saying similar stories. Just
Wow.
funny coincidence.
Well, she said it's difficult sometimes communicating when Mercury is in
Yeah,
retrograde.
that's pretty cool. I like your friend, whoever that may be.
She's one of our viewers, Sue Lacente.
Yeah, Sue
Oh, I've
Lacente.
seen her name on there. Cool. Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you for the tidbit.
She lives up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully everyone's going to like today. Today is one of my absolute favorite symbols and subjects. Crystal balls, the meaning, and crystal energy.
Wow. I'm
This
trying
is,
to get your volume up here. Okay, here we go.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, when I was like, I would say probably 8, 10 years old, I remember hearing one of my absolute favorite songs from Styx, First Time, Crystal Ball. And I just thought that was just the coolest. I don't know, something about the guitar solo in it, the music, everything was just perfect for me for that song. It spoke to me. And I kind of always wanted a crystal ball, and does it work? How does it work and why? And what's the deal with that? And I found out some really interesting things. First off, I had a friend of mine once said to me, "Hey, Brad, can I get you anything?" And I said, "What do you mean anything? I mean, that's a really big subject." He said, "No, I kind of owe you a favor. I want to get you something. I think I may have it. What do you want?" And it was just so obtuse. I said, "You know what? I want a crystal ball." And he gave me one. And you know what?
What's that?
Here it is. You see
Oh,
it?
wow.
That's my crystal ball that was given to me. Wait, here, Coles, come say hi.
Hi, Colby.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
We're talking about the mysterious crystal ball. It's very
Yeah.
exciting. Brad's going to inform us.
Yes, we're gonna have some fun. So I was just introducing him to
Awesome.
time, and so this friend, he gave it to me, and typically, throughout history, most people think of crystal balls, they're supposed to be perfectly clear to get that clear vision and whatever it may be. But I don't know if you can see, there's matrix and stuff going on. It looks like I lit it from the back, but there's a lot going on. And if you zoom in even tighter, in the very center, there is a small pyramid. In the very center of it, there actually is a small crystal. that is locked within the crystal ball. And this one has a pyramidion on the interior, which I just found to be fascinating from a gemological, scientific perspective.
And what is that exactly?
It is a small crystal that grew inside of the big rock quartz crystal, and it was locked and encased in there for millions of years. So, I kind of look at this from a scientific and a metaphysic point of view. We're going to blend the two cultures together tonight. And one of the reasons why I love crystal balls. So here I got this crystal ball, and now what do I want to do with it? Here's my next view. That's from the other side, lit. And I don't know if you see there's like a wave line that goes right through it?
Yep.
That's actually a fracture on the interior. So this is not a perfectly clear crystal, but I have studied it under magnification and found a lot of interesting crystallographic structures that are just fascinating. It's like we're going into a different planet. And when you study a subject like this under the scope, your mind starts to play tricks with you. Your mind gets a little, woozy in a way. Well, this wooziness actually is part of studying the crystal ball. So what's the deal? How did they do it? The idea and premise of crystal ball scrying is that's when a seer or a person who studies into the ball, they scry into it. And as they're looking into it, they are actually detonating the ocular nerve. They're detonating their eye, their muscle. It can't go forward, it can't go back. And it literally is in this limbo state. When your eye is at the limbo state, that is when some say they can read into their mind and have what's called a crystal vision. Crystal visions have been mentioned in lots of rock music. Exactly, Stevie Nicks.
My favorite.
That's right here.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks. That's
And
right.
the song Dreams.
Dreams.
Yep.
That's right. And she has, just to let you know, she has an incredible, Stevie Nicks has an incredible passion for crystal ball and also crystal energy and the movement that goes with it. And the movement is, it's Wiccan, also known as, spirit nature. There are many different names of harnessing the nature around us. And this is actually a Wiccan ritual during, I don't know if you see in the background where it's black and there's around that's during an eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
And the ball has this kind of glow cast from the different light sources around it. This ritual that you see here, I've been able to triangulate as far back as 7,000 BC.
Wow.
Yes.
Who was doing it then? Who was
Pre-Druid.
Pre-Druid?
Yes. It goes back so far. In fact, also, interestingly enough, in ancient pre-dynastic cultures of China, they too also have used the crystal ball for thousands and thousands of pre-recorded years. Same thing. They would crystal gaze into it. Now, some people will watch this and think that crystal gazing is hokum and doesn't work, and that's fine. You don't have to believe it. But there have been many successful people that have been capable of producing some very unique crystal visions. One person in particular was John Dee. In the early 1500s, he was actually the confidant for Queen Elizabeth for England. He actually helped be her soothsayer using the crystal ball or a pool of knowledge to draw from to get his crystal visions, to help, some say, successfully coordinate military attacks on the Spanish. So it has a long history that's fascinating. to go with it. This is an interesting little tidbit. This is what's called an Omicron. An Omicron is a crystal sphere on top. And I don't know if you noticed, but there are some grooved carved lines on the top that look like a pumpkin. I don't know what that's for, but I find it fascinating. But the tube underneath is bronze. This is actually from the Mycene era, which is from almost 2000 BC.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How old this is.
This was found in what was known as the Crystal Cemetery. And there were crystals all throughout this cemetery. And this was actually, the spike was put into the ground and only the crystal sphere laid up at where the head, guru, whomever that may be, was buried.
How cool is that?
And what was, do we know more? Or is that, like, we just know that it was where somebody was buried?
Well,
but did somebody come and pray over it? Or
the Mycene era, they were known for utilizing crystals and as many things as they could, from religious, from weaponry, from everything. So they really utilized the concept of crystal and crystal healing. And it's just interesting because every culture has utilized crystals at some point, either scientifically or metaphysically.
Well,
That's interesting.
I mean, it's very interesting. The thing about it for me is, how do they? I mean, I understand that they use them, and I certainly understand the thought behind the power of crystals. But how do you discover something like that 7,000 years ago or whatever? I mean, how does that even? How does that happen in
I
theory?
think that's a great question. Some of the theories are based in Atlantean culture. Some have said that before the Earth and plate tectonics took place, there was a greater culture that was on top of our culture and has separated since, that had utilized many of these energies that we're trying to figure out, and some of the finger dust clues were left over, and those subsequent civilizations drew that wisdom and reconstituted it for their reoccurring miracles to figure things out.
Man,
Wow.
that's amazing. I mean, that's just, and I see. Is that Paige has it?
Yeah,
On that
right
long
here,
chain?
he's wearing, on his chain, it is like a crystal disc. And the crystal disc is like a flat form of a crystal ball. It's to use, to crystal gaze into it to pull out those visions.
Right. So we can see his crystal vision.
Oh, we can't hear Colby.
this is really cool.
Oh yeah, Colby reminded me something. In Norse mythology, in Viking mythology, crystals were used by the Viking seamen all the time. In fact, they had brought it to a mythical great status to always have a crystal with them. And now we're looking back as to why. And they would hold up these crystals in front of the cloudy sun. And because the crystal, or some crystals, are doubly refractive, meaning that it is a simplistic polarizer of light, you can see through the clouds and see where the sun is to help you navigate. So you can navigate the seas more effectively by seeing through the clouds and into the, and seeing where the sun's located even on dark days. So it was an instrument, and a lot of instruments like this with crystals have been used.
Wow.
Well, now let me tell you some of the viewers' comments.
Yeah, because we have comments coming back out.
Dawn Ranke, she's in Colorado. She
Right.
says, very, very interesting. Thanks for sharing. And Sue Lacente says, love this.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yep, Brenda Laskow gave you a big heart. She loves this.
Oh,
So
okay.
Well, it's interesting because, I did one tour with a guy in 1988, and he was major into the crystals. I mean, he had more crystals it was actually a kind of an amazing array, but it was a little over the top for me. Just this crystal after crystal necklace, not quite a choker, but not really a, whatever you call it, drop.
Right.
And I mean, he believed in all of that
Yeah,
wholeheartedly. The
sage and all that.
sage and
So,
that has to people have to hand that down to one another.
so let's breach into a brief topic. Each crystal does have its own unique frequency. Coming back to harmony. The the 12 birthstones, like what month were you born in? You were
September,
Sapphire. Okay,
Sapphire.
you're a Sapphire. Okay. Well, where that came from are the 12 stones that are in the breastplate of Aaron, back to biblical era. That was locked inside of the Ark of the Covenant, along with the scriptures. Remember that old story from Charlton Heston days?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, the 12 stones each had harmonic significance to the house in which it came from, being zodiac sign, the wheel. So each month had its own specific frequency in the harmonics. Now, what's interesting is one of the most guarded secrets in history. I'm going to say this again. One of the most guarded secrets in history that have been passed down for thousands of years is no one knows officially exactly what 12 stones they were, because the time has eroded. And that's why some people say, well, what month are you? Well, I've got 3 birthstones in that month. Well, pick one. So there's sometimes, it doesn't always work because the formulas of frequency are different. And the key is finding that harmonic.
What elaborate on what like a certain, like a quartz, what that does for
Yeah,
somebody,
okay.
or a rose quartz versus, I don't know.
Yes, I have a picture to support this. I will be right back.
Aha.
Here, let's go back to her. Now, do you see here? We're gonna get back to your question, Manacoma. Do you see right here, Stevie Nicks with the macaw, the 3 roses? There's a tambourine, but inside the tambourine is actually a crystal ball. Check
Yeah.
this out. Boom!
Yeah.
This
Oh.
doctor, she did that exact tattoo on her.
Who did?
Well, go back to the other shot.
I found this picture of this rock chick. I like her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's well, hey, listen.
So to answer Colby's question on, some of the different frequency harmonics, what will they do? Now watch this. When Colby and I were at the farmer's market, and there was this young woman wearing this soft almost light turquoisey blue, clearish colored quartz. And it's what's called moon quartz. And it has like a silver blue moon color, and it's very misty because it has what's called cryptocrystal. And the crystals are really teeny that make it up, that comprise it over time. And what's been said about moon quartz is when light goes into it or energy goes into it, it diffuses it softly. So it's supposed to bring the energy wearer this great amount of calm. And I told her this when I saw her. I said, do you know what this is? And she says, well, I thought it was cool. It's a crescent moon. I like it. And when I told her that this is like, supposed to dissipate the energy, she says, that blows me away. And I said, why? She said, because whenever I put it on, I have to have this thing on almost every day. I always feel at peace when I'm wearing it. So
Wow.
sometimes people innately are drawn to this, and sometimes people intently go into it. But
Yeah.
there's something there.
Wow, there sure is. I mean, like I said, the guy that I knew and he was from San Francisco, and I think it's interesting that it would be, Northern California, a little bit more maybe cerebral or spiritual. I don't really know for sure, but it seems to me that a lot of that thinking generates out of Northern California.
Well, interesting to support that. In Northern California, there was a discovery that dates back 6,000 BC of a crystal ball and crystal spheres that are oblongish that were found in Northern California that were utilized. So there is something about the harmonic range, and there's also something about the human discovery and intent to find out more as that part of the world is.
Wow. So well, that explains what Tyler's got one on then.
Yeah.
Okay, Sue Lucente says also that she has the purple amethyst, and she's not sure the name, and
Uh-huh.
she has a Hermiker diamond.
Herkimer diamond from Herkimer, Arkansas. The Herkimer diamond from Herkimer, Arkansas is actually, it is a clear quartz that they cut in kind of these typically octahedron, 8-sided faces, and or just a perfect cube. But they grow quite clean and beautiful, and they're known for their harmony frequency does resonate at around 432. 432 equals 9. That's a Tesla number, and 432 hertz in any musical source is a big deal in healing quartz energy and healing musical energy.
Wow.
Thank you for reminding me.
Tell her about amethyst.
Oh, yeah,
tell her about
amethyst. So
Yeah.
Amethyst has a double-fold story. One of my favorite. One of the Greek stories goes that I can't remember Dionysus. He saw that his love, who was mortal, she was frozen in pure quartz because of an evil god, and said, you can't, fall in love with a mortal because he's the god of divine and he has to be with another god or deity. And he was so upset over this, he went over to her and he cried over her, and his tears turned into amethyst and melted the crystal away and brought her back to life. And
Wow.
it's one of those beautiful stories, and I really love it. But with that said, amethyst throughout history has been known for a lot of clergy will do it because it's the purity of truth and love. So it was said many years ago that if you want to know what your loved one is really up to, let him hold a quartz, an amethyst for a little while and see how he acts and behaves. And if he feels guilty and tells you that he was a rotten scoundrel, it did its job.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
Wow.
That would explain no quartz around here.
Stories of that actually working.
I don't know.
Does it actually work?
Hang on, guys.
Okay.
You got to stay closer to the mic, or we
Oh,
I'm
get
just
only
wondering if it actually works. That's all. I wanted to know if the amethyst, if that's do we have any?
So you want me to hold one? Is that what you're saying? You want me to hold one and see if I start confessing? Is that what it is?
That's right.
Okay, now Dawn Ranke, the girl in Colorado,
Right.
what is September? Just wondering.
Sapphire.
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 So let's go back to Sapphire. Sapphire can be blue, purple, green, almost any color in the rainbow, yellow. And when they're red, you and I call them rubies, because ruby and sapphire are connected family members, because the only thing that separates them is the chemical composition of chromium, in which turns corundum, the head family of sapphire, into red. But all the different variable dynamics like iron and other minerals will be coloring agents to enhance or detract coloration. If I gave you 6 crayons, how many colors can you come up with? A bunch of them. Each one has their own frequency and harmonic.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, you're really
Yeah.
full of some interesting facts, Brad.
Yeah, man. It's amazing that it's amazing that you retain it, but it's I know how important it is for you, especially, to get the stuff spot on, and it's very impressive. But what do you think the crossover is to music, to rock and roll? I mean,
So
why?
that's the awesome thing. There is this bond between music that you hear and frequency that you feel. sometimes they are interrelated and sometimes they're completely separate. I can tell you many times, my wife says to me, Brad, when we're in the car, I have the music kind of playing low sometimes because I can, I can hear it. So it's in my head. I'm singing it in my mind. I don't need to listen to it loud sometimes. Sometimes I do, but it drives her crazy. But
if you notice how many artists, musicians who wear crystals, I think people who are artistic are naturally drawn to these different, they're sensitive, and I think they're drawn to these different colors and energies and frequencies that, they read about it or they hear about it or they think something's cool, they wear it.
Perfect example. You remember when we were talking about your art the other day? I said, how did this happen? Like I was trying to crawl in your brain a little bit because when you have that percussionary mark, you can hear it and it's over. But you can feel it and still see it because it's radiating energy.
Yeah, well, for me, that whole thing is my whole method in the art is very. You know what? Since we're having a show, let me see if I can turn the.
Well, everybody's saying thank you, Brad. And
yeah,
this
it's
is really
awesome,
cool.
bro.
So yeah.
I'll play you something. Whoops! No. Yes. I will. I'll turn the music down and talk. See, I'm very much into the 3 dimensions and the movement that you find in the circle. That's in martial arts and really the circle of life. And there is, there's sort of you'll see crystal balls and those kind of things in my work all the time. Or allusions to it. And it's not a conscious thing because this for me is spontaneous. I sit down and I go to work and the colors or the shapes tell me, this is called swimming tigers, but again, named after I had completed it. But I got the feeling that those were tigers in in some sort of water. And gypsy again, like I'm looking over a balcony in Spain or wherever watching a girl do spins, and that's obviously it turned into a shirt. But
Yeah.
I don't want to do the whole. But all of these have they all have some significance with regard to how they came out, how I pursued, how I went after doing them.
Jungle, that one was called.
I'm really glad you point. Can I stop for 1 second? Your paintings you were just showing to me reminds me of something that one of my favorite books, Graham Hancock. He's a brilliant author, and what he has explored in this particular book are ancient cave drawings that have gone throughout the course of prehistoric time, and he compared them. And when he found that there was approximately 30 separate or so characters that were similar, that were connected all the way throughout the world. So there obviously has to be something, and part of that is that rippling that you show is a rhythmic. Really, it is so. It's primal. Because it's real, it's something you feel that you get out of you. It's like something you discover within you.
Oh yeah, because first of all, we understand the significance of the circle, and I have always liked the soft line. You know what I mean? I've always and drums for me, even the way I set my gear up, it's all circles. It's if you look at, since we're in it, I might as well get in it. If you look at, hang on, where is it? If you look at the way that my drum set is, what is that? And now I'm making FaceTime calls. If you
To Colby's mother.
yeah, to Colby's mother.
Why not?
Okay, if you look at is it this one? Yeah, I got to turn my camera off. Oh no, I have to turn this off too. Nope,
Every
nothing's
week
working.
since you guys have been on the show,
Yeah.
he'll get a FaceTime
Yeah,
call
it's
from
funny.
your mom by accident.
I'm trying to find one that from the back, so you can see what it is I'm talking about. But everything, and I thought this would have done it, but maybe not.
Oh, well, your spaceship is round.
Anyway, yeah, the way I set my gear up is based on a circle. I mean, it's
Keep a circular movement.
because you can't go from here to there and every time you do this, that's two stopping motions. Every time you do this, there's no stopping motion. So you're not. So if you set your gear up that way, and that's the way you get from one place to another, you never have to have that, push and pull impact.
Right.
And that works from everything from your daily life to to self-defense to playing drums or anything else.
Absolutely.
The circle of 108.
That's the concept of small circle jujitsu right there.
Yeah, and so it brings me, it makes me, obviously, I don't have the study. I don't know that I even have the acumen to understand, where it comes from and the evolution of the circle and the sphere and the crystal ball and what it might mean here or there. But I do understand the unexplainable connection, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that if you look into, instinct, that's going to be, your instincts were kicking in.
Yeah.
I mean, efficient things that are efficient in nature, you've picked up on, and there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question about your crystal ball. The fact that it's got that pyramid in it, does that make it special, or?
He said,
Well, it makes it special to me, only because.
Yeah, it would make it special to me too.
Well.
yeah.
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 I'm gonna let Angus in, but I'm gonna put you up full screen. Go ahead, Brad.
Look into my crystal ball. But it's just ever fascinating. And what always surprises everyone when I let them hold this ball is how heavy it is. It's only, it's only a handful, but it's probably 8.5 pounds. It's completely solid. And it has magnificent rainbow effects and many other hidden features.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, and again, I want to go back to this one right here. That's what started it all for me, is when I saw that crystal ball as a kid and heard that song. I'm still singing it. I'm still, the song. It's just one of those that will be there forever for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's just really amazing.
That's been some interesting stuff on.
Yeah, that's wow. I mean,
I really appreciate all of the family comments, because it makes it so much more full. And thank you.
No, listen, we thank you, man. It's this is fun stuff to hear and see and learn and the things that somebody that might have had a thought in the corner of their mind as to why this or why that. It's nice to bring some of that stuff to light. It really is.
Scratch the itch. We always want to know.
Yeah,
And
of course.
Next week's going to be fun. We're doing the pentagram.
Oh.
Remember, it's
Well,
October.
That's right.
Rocktober.
I had no idea about Jimmy Page wearing that crystal
Yeah,
ball around his neck.
that's amazing, man. This whole thing has been amazing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, Sue Lucente says, thanks for your knowledge and sharing.
Oh, wow.
He's got
I have a crystal ball.
Yes, you do. So,
Oh, it's hamsters in it.
What?
Hey,
No, his hamster's not in it.
Is that not Nibbles?
No, that's a real crystal ball.
Oh, wow.
His
I
hamster.
thought that was his hamster ball.
am I to guess, is that like a lead glass crystal? like a
Yeah, I
glass.
think so.
Yeah, so the glass crystal balls are very efficient for letting that eye gaze into it and get lazy a little quicker than the one that I have. But hey, to each their own. I like yours.
Yeah.
Where did you get yours, Angus?
Well, what's that?
Where did yours
Where
come
did
from?
you find yours, Angus?
Fran gave it to me, my wife. I said, I know, Fran, where'd you get it? Where did you get this? At a crystal store.
Oh, I have.
Go.
Who knew?
I did not know.
Yeah, you learn something new about Angus every day.
Yes, you do. I'll believe me, you do. All right, listen, guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let Angus do his bit,
Okay, so
and
next week
we'll
the
talk tomorrow. And so
pentagram.
pentagram next Monday, right?
Monday.
Got it. Yes, sir. Have a great one, guys.
Great one. Thank you, Brad. Thanks, Colby.
Thanks,
Good
Colby.
seeing you. Hey.
That was great.
Yeah.